Magnus, welcome to the second edition of the Grand Slam in Paris. Looks amazing here, yeah. Like I thought, Weissenhaus being sort of self-contained would have like amazing things, but they managed to put up in Paris as well.
Yeah, it feels like it's a lot of the same setup here, but just bigger and even nicer. And of course, it helps that now we have fantastic spring weather, while Weissenhaus, for all of its glory, is not very summery in February.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you looking at this field overall? 12 players, some last-minute replacements, two of them, Hans and Firuza backing out with Rapport and Nodirbek coming in. Your feelings?
Yeah, of course, it was unfortunate that Alireza could not play, especially seeing as it's at his home venue. But the players who are coming in are incredible, and I think this is certainly the strongest field that we've had so far. It's going to be incredibly cutthroat to see who is going to be out in the first few days. I guess we're playing 12 players, 11 rounds. I'm assuming you will need 50% to be almost sure. I think somebody's gonna have like a very decent tournament and still be out. So yeah, it's really tough. And then once you get to the knockouts, you play every single day, and there are no bad players. So it's about as tough as it gets.
And how have you worked since Weissenhaus? We have Peter here as well. I mean, it's been one month and few days. Did you work on freestyle chess?
I've been playing and streaming Freestyle Fridays on chess.com a bit. Apart from that, I haven't had a ton of time to work on anything. So yeah, I'm coming in at least with more experience from the last tournament. I haven't gotten some reps in online, but I'm kind of relying on the rapid to sort of get into it a little bit.
I think also the Esports World Cup coming up, and there you getting into Team Liquid has been a big news. You and Fabi and
yeah, we actually had some days of filming just before I came here. And
I saw the reel where the bishop is hidden behind, and then you have the bishop, and it's a nice
one. Yeah, I'm very excited to be part of that organization, and I think that's one of the directions where chess should go. It's for faster chess to become more spectator friendly, and having those esports arenas where you've seen how it's possible to fill arenas with these games. It's very exciting.
Amazing. And Magnus, here we are going to ask you something different. We collected a few pictures of yours, and to take you back in a nostalgia mode, and to just have a look at them and give your thoughts on that. And then we have another segment of chess as well. So if we could do that. The first picture is this one. Does it evoke any memories, nostalgia for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is of course from Reykjavik in 2004 against Gary. So we played sort of Formula One style preliminaries the day before, which was 16 players, 15 rounds of a blitz, and it went in late into the night. And I remember I was so incredibly tired, and then I lost a lot of games on that day, and I ended up second to last, and somehow Levon actually won that preliminary, and Gary was second. So second would play against 15, and it was Gary. And I think I slept for about 12 hours that night, longer basically than I'd ever slept until before. I woke up a few hours before the games, and I started going, I'm playing Gary, let's try and prepare for some of his openings. And it was a feeling like I never had before, because everywhere I was looking, looking at the key ideas that have been invented in most of the modern openings, Gary had either played it or been the first to play it. And so I was petrified, like I had no idea what to do. And so I think for the first game I decided I would just go d4 and then we'll see what he plays. And I think he was unsure. Like I've had later, like I've been unsure what to do against these kids and players that I feel like I have to beat, because you don't want to go for anything that's too sort of forced. But I don't think I realized that at that time really that was the thing. So I was like, oh, he plays the Cambridge Springs, that's a little bit unusual for him, and that's where we have
Were you expecting him to go for King's Indian or something, and then maybe...
Yeah, I was expecting him to maybe go for some... Like at that point he had already sort of transitioned into more semi-Slavs and Queen's Gambit Accepted and so on, but I was still probably expecting him to play some sort of King's Indian setup. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a draw.
It was a draw.
And you celebrated with an ice cream, and
I got a little bit lucky. He missed something tactical, and I got a much better position. And I didn't manage to win, of course, but it was still quite memorable.
Amazing. What a picture this is. Yeah. I think it's you with the three Azeris there, Shak, Vugar, Eltash.
Yeah.
And is the girl there someone? I am not sure who that is.
I mean, it could be my youngest sister, but I don't really think so.
This must be at the Dubai Open 2014.
Yeah, so this is
2004.
The Dubai Open 2004.
Where you made your final GM norm.
My final GM norm, yeah. So there were prayer breaks during the game, and that's why we were, some of us were playing table football, and then I remember Mirosnishenko, he was playing pool. He was a very good pool player, so he was just playing pool against himself, which I thought was quite interesting. Like he was just setups and trying to sync everything. And yeah, the rest of us, or some of us, were really excited to be able to play table football. I just find it incredible that I'm 2 years older than Eltash, but I still look younger, I think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, seeing Gashimov is always, it's always a bit weird. Those were good times for sure.
Mm-hmm. In that tournament, one of the games, my favorite is your win against Vladimirov.
Yeah.
Incredible game.
That was the game against Vladimirov, and especially the checkmating combination that didn't happen on the board, but where he actually, which I saw and I was incredibly proud of, and he admitted that he didn't see it, but he thought there was something there, so he decided not to go for a line that looked like it would win him an exchange. But that would have been one of the more beautiful combinations of my career.
This is a little bit in the distance, but it's such a nice picture. I think it's your entire family there.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 of you.
Yeah, so this I guess is from Salzburg. I played a tournament in Schwarzacher Open, and which was the first tournament of our travels in 2003.
When you guys were on the road, yes?
When we were on the road, so that was the first tournament, and I guess we did some sightseeing in Salzburg. We went to see the Mozart Museum, for instance, and this is a good memory. The start of our travels.
Did you find it weird when you guys did it? Because right now it feels like an incredible decision that was taken back then. But did you feel back then like, oh, it's just normal, yeah?
I think especially my father was really keen on doing something a little bit different. And we talked about it for a while, and I remember being very surprised at the moment when my parents just told us that, you know, this is decided, we're going to go. And of course, like the kids, we were excited about it, being able to travel a lot and not go to school. And for me to play chess tournaments as well and to be able to focus on that was incredible. But yeah, I do realize that most kids don't do it, but it was an incredible experience, a very different time. And I remember we went like months without internet, for instance, and we were sleeping in tents and one-star hotels and camping huts, and we were just very happy with not very much at times. So
Wow.
There was a
it was a
book
great
you
time.
used to read a lot, right? When you were young, I saw some behind the scenes video, something like you used to read a small, like maybe it was like some cartoon book or.
I used to read a lot of Donald Duck.
Donald Duck, yeah.
Donald Duck cartoons, yeah. So.
And then you became part of that in one of their
Yeah,
episodes.
we did. Yeah, we did that twice actually.
Oh.
Which was a fantastic experience, but it was it was definitely a great time. And in retrospect, I don't know if I'd be in the same position chess wise, since I learned so much over that year. So.
And this is another, I think, from that same trip.
I
think this are they your grandparents or?
Yeah, my grandparents and my two older sisters and my mother as well at near the Acropolis in Athens. So this is my dad's parents. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. And Magnus, onto a game of chess. Does this evoke any memories? Any?
Since you mentioned like cartoons and I was part of it, this game against Nakamura is the one that was featured in the first Donald Duck story.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Yes.
Oh, wow, what a coincidence! I had no clue. Yeah.
So that's a bit funny. So this is of course during one of the tatas that I didn't win, the one that Hikaru actually won. I had a terrible start to the tournament, but then I think I won 3 games in a row, and this was the last of them to get to I guess 5. I think this game got me to 5.5, 5-9. So I thought I might have some chance to win the tournament still, but certainly a great memory. And I think Grisha kind of mocked me after the game because I spent like 3 or 4 moves to safeguard my king before attacking. Like I really tried to attack as much as possible without calculating any lines, but it's a good memory for sure.
And what was do you remember, like, of course you remember, like how did you finish it off?
I took on h6, and from there it pretty much placed itself.
Yeah. And this is the
Yeah, I had the crazy idea to play the Miller against Carano. Was one of the
Very
big
well prepared,
experts, and he came up with a new idea of G4, and
Yes.
At that point I was just, what am I doing with my life? Like, I'm leading the tournament. Why am I playing this complicated stuff? And I tried to find some way to play which wouldn't necessarily be the one that he'd studied, it actually turned out quite well. That, I mean, the position was objectively really good for him, but he couldn't quite find the right way. I got back into the game, and at some point my positioned like uncoiled like a spring, and this was kind of the coup de grace with the move bishop to f4,
yeah.
and it more or less secured me the tournament win because I had 7 out of 8 after that game, and I only needed a draw against Hikaru with white in the last round to secure first place.
How is it that, Magnus, you remember these things so vividly? We've done this with several players here. They all have a bit of hazy memory when it comes to their past games. Years get missed, tournaments not so clear, opponents often they remember, but you have like this as if you just played it yesterday.
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends on the game. Like some games I cannot remember much, but I don't know. I feel like these games have generally been quite memorable. So I'm not as good at remembering details as I was in the past, but I can still remember some of them.
We have a few questions which are rapid fire to end this, and the first one is a little bit hypothetical but also interesting.
Yeah, if you had to choose an opponent for a chess boxing match from this event,
From here.
from the players who are playing,
11
here,
others.
who would you choose?
Probably Maxim. Like he's good at blitz, but I feel like I could knock him out.
That was very straightforward. Okay. The second.
You didn't choose like the young kids, yeah? Like they might like Prague and Gukesh. And
Prague is feisty.
oh, really?
I think Prague is really feisty.
Everyone chose Prague. They were like, okay, Prague looks easy one.
No, I think Maxim. I mean, Arjun would probably be my second choice.
Got it.
The second question is, if at this point you had to choose an alternate career, what would you choose and why?
I mean, it's easy. I would be an influencer.
No, we
Because
saw.
it would kind of flow easily from what I already do. I don't want to do anything useful.
There's also one small video we had seen where you made like a coffee or a cafe for Ella, and that was incredible. Yeah, like you really made it well. What was it? Coffee?
No, it's matcha.
yeah, matcha coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, she was on me for a while to learn how to do it, and now I finally have learned how to do it, and it makes her life a bit easier. So I'm happy for that.
I don't think it is for any of us. I think it's only for Ella.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the Women's World Championship is going on between you and June and Tan Zhongyi.
Yeah, Ju and Jun won a really nice endgame today, I thought.
The opposite colored.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the quality of play has been quite high so far, and but I think Ju and Jun with her experience is a slight favorite, but it's not a foregone conclusion by any means.
And like in these, from today's game, which was this opposite color end game, which in general is should be drawn. But do you think the magnitude of the match, it makes it difficult for inexperienced players like Tan Zhongyi to defend it against someone very experienced like you and Jun?
I think what is key about those positions is that even though it is a draw, and there should be a pretty wide drawing margin, the problem is that you cannot force it, or at least as to what happened, you cannot force it. So you push, and then at some point your opponent might get tired and make a mistake. So as long as you can keep the pressure on in a very skillful way, which she did, not allowing Tan Zhongyi opportunities to simplify the game, then I think the chances of winning are quite decent, even in the classical format.
And the fourth one is, which phone app do you use the most?
That's a good question. I think it is X, unfortunately, even though it never does anything good.
I realized in the same age range, like Hikaru, Maxim, I think even they all
Bobby
said.
said that he deleted the app because he uses it too much, but he goes on Google Chrome and then you.
So everyone uses X.
No, I made a conscious choice that I do not have X on my iPad. So at least that screen time is free from that. So I think that helps.
And freestyle is becoming bigger. We see this growing. What is one thing that you like about it the most, and what is one thing you would like to change?
So what I like about it the most is very simple. I love to play the games. Like that's sort of why we're here. One thing I would like to change. You know what? I would like to change the starting time. I think that we should play a little bit later in the day, so that the starting time will be more geared towards prime time in Europe, in India, and also a time that is somewhat feasible for the United States, because I think now we're more or less in. I mean, maybe the end of the games are like entering prime time in India, but the start of the games is too early for Europe, too early for India, and it's only like far further east where it's prime time. So I think we should.
I think all the players we asked, they all said that we love that there's no preparation here. We can just come and play. Each and every one.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, should. I think that's exactly the point.
And last question, Magnus, slightly philosophical in nature. How would you like to be remembered as?
Chess-wise, I just want to be remembered as the guy who won a lot. Like, I don't really care about different legacy parts, but my chess career has mostly been about attaining results, and that's what I care about. Apart from that, I want to be remembered as maybe not as a good person, but as somebody people could at least pretend to like.
That was very nice, Magnus. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck for this event.
Thank you.